I haven't started.
Oh, hey there, Dr. B here, for another podcast, right? Another podcast. What's it called? It's called Ion Physiology. Yeah, so we're here. We've got exam week going on, and so we thought that it would be good, since we have covered a lot of body fluids in the last town hall, and then also cardiovascular the last couple of weeks, that we would do sort of like an exam review, exam prep. So we're going to tell you guys all the exam question. Just kidding. We're not going to do that. We can't legally do that. Sorry. But we are going to talk to you guys about some of the content that is on the exam. And we're going to start first with a word from our sponsor, Haley.
Hello. We're being sponsored.
We are being sponsored.
We've got some good ones for you.
Great
Let's
ones.
see. Our first sponsor, we're gonna give a big shout out to Google Docs. Collaborate from Beyond the Grave. And in honor of Halloween Eve.
Halloween Eve. There you go. Google.
Google.
Goggle.
Google.
G-O-U-L.
Google.
Google. So it's called Google.
Google.
It's
Yeah.
Google. Just Google. Good.
We're gonna move on to our next sponsor today.
We're gonna talk about Google.
We're also sponsored by Starbucks Coffee,
Starbucks.
serving lattes and late night regrets.
Late lattes. Thank you, Google.
Google.
Goggle. And Starbucks for your sponsorship. We appreciate that. Yay. Okay, well, that's a word from our sponsor, and we're excited to be here. Amy's excited to be here. I can tell that. Hey Nadeem, where you at? There we go. There's Nadeem. We are here. So Nadeem, don't forget to get in the photo. There we go. I'll push this back here. Okay, so who has some information or concepts that we need to go over that would help these students as they are studying?
I received a question from one of the students. Is that it's not difficult, but they having a hard understanding of the concept between nodal and cardiomyocytes, and how, like, if there is actually a cheat or whatever to remember which is which and how they operate.
Right. Well, remember, we're not expecting you all to go and identify, an actual nodal cell versus a non-nodal cell. That's the terminology that we've used in the lecture. When you're going through the literature, they may call it nodal and they may call it cardiomyocyte or muscle cell or whatever else. We try to simplify that and say nodal versus non-nodal to make it a little bit easier. There are a lot of differences in terms of the mechanisms by which these two cell types function, like what they do and how they function. So mainly the mechanisms by which their electrical action potential differs. So I'm going to give a brief overview. I'm not going to go over everything, but remember, if we're looking at it, you're explaining it, to your mom at dinner, right? Your mom's like, "Hey, honey, what'd you learn today?" And you're like, "I learned about nodal cells." She's like, "What's that?" And maybe your mom sounds like that, maybe not. But, basically you say that the nodal cells are the what? They are the what of the hearts? What is the pacemaker? So the nodal cells are the pacemakers of the heart. And the non-nodal cells are basically the muscle part of the heart, right? That actually is going to be responsible for contraction, okay? 99% of the heart mass is made up of cardiomyocytes,
which are
non-nodal cells. So once again, 99% of the heart mass, right? Whether we're talking about the atria or the ventricles, it's made up of non-nodal cells, okay? And those are the contractile ones. Now, the nodal cells, the 1%, they're really important, right? Because they are the pacemaker of the heart. Now, we're not going to reteach everything, but go back through and make sure you understand the action potential. First of all, what an action potential from a nodal cell looks like. What phases does a nodal cell have? But also the action potential of a non-nodal cell and what phases those have. They are distinct and different, and you must know that what they look like, the differences, why the differences are there, and also be able to explain what is happening at each phase of the action potential for a nodal cell and also a non-nodal cell. If you don't remember that, that's okay, right? We still have time. That's why we're all reviewing together. Dom, where'd you go? Right, there's Dom. I thought you disappeared. No. So make sure that you understand that there are questions on the exam that go over that aspect of physiology, of cardiovascular physiology. You need to know that. You need to know why the plateau phase is plateau. Why is it essentially isoelectric? Why is it isoelectric? Because of the non-nodal cell, the plateau phase, and a myocyte action potential. Why is it isoelectric? Why doesn't it just repolarize like a neuron? Because calcium influx is essentially equal and opposite to potassium efflux. Okay, so the calcium that's rushing into the cell, right after depolarization, calcium rushes into the cell. Some of it from the exterior, in fact, like maybe 10 to 20% from the exterior extracellularly, but most of it comes from the sarcoplasmic reticulum in a non-nodal cardiomyocyte, right? But regardless, we've got extracellular calcium going up. Well, you have potassium leaving, right? And potassium is starting to efflux, and it balances out, right? So the potassium's coming in, it's increasing positive ions inside the cell, and then, calcium's coming in, and then potassium is leaving, so you have a positive ion leaving, it kind of balances everything out. So be able to understand that, be able to articulate that, and why things are happening, why each phase of the action potential is occurring. Okay, so that's just one of many examples, and make sure that when you think you know it, right? I was talking with some students this morning, and actually another professor. If you think you have this down pat, try to teach it. Okay. Teaching it, even if you teach it to somebody who doesn't know anything about physiology, that will expose gaps in knowledge in your own understanding. Because a lot of times we go through something and we say, oh, I've got that. I know this, right? Ain't no thing but a chicken wing, right? Okay, explain it. And you try to explain it and you quickly realize, I did not know this as well as I thought I knew this, right? So just make sure that you all are going above and beyond and studying for these exams. Each exam is 20%, I believe, of the total grade. Also microvids. Remember to review the microvids. If you are fuzzy on a concept, right? One of the reasons why we have these microvids and we have them due instead of at the end of the semester where they don't necessarily benefit the entire class as much, we have them due before the exam, before this first exam, is so that you can go back through and utilize that library of microvids to help you all study. Okay, so go back through the microvids, coordinate with your GTAs, right? I'm going to be having a town hall this coming Saturday at 9:30 a.m. on Zoom. I've already sent the link out and an announcement. We'll send another announcement out. Make sure you attend that. If you do not attend that, that's okay. We know you live busy lives. Send in a question. If you have questions, or even if it's a generalized area, you're like, I don't have a question, Dr. B, but I need help on understanding body fluids and the different compartments and what can move back and forth and how we figure out volume with body fluids. Let us know. We want to help you. We are here to help you. So please let us know. Couple of tips for exam day. When you are going to schedule your exam, make sure you are getting a good night's sleep. Okay, don't spend all night the night before staying up till 4 a.m. and expect to do well when you take the exam and have it scheduled at 9 a.m. It by and large, that maybe that's you, right? Maybe you're the exception, but by and large, that hasn't gone well on average when students do that. Hydrate. Make sure you're drinking enough water. Okay, if you're a caffeineaholic because you've got a job, you've got 5 kids. Not saying you have 5 kids. I have 5 kids. I love my coffee. Just go easy on the coffee, right? Fuller, go easy on the Pepsi. What's that from? Anybody? Oh, come on.
Oh.
Fuller, please help him out. Fuller, go easy on the Pepsi. Home Alone, y'all. Have you not seen Home Alone?
Not enough.
Oh my goodness, not enough. All right. See what I have to deal with here? No reference, no pop culture references from the 90s. It's a sad day. Anyway, make sure you go easy on the caffeine. I mean, if you don't go cold turkey, that's gonna cause more problems than it is. But just be aware of your mental state, right? Be aware, make sure you're doing everything you can to be as prepared mentally and physically for that exam. So please make sure you're doing that. And then go into it and do your best. Okay. Any other questions or recommendations that we have or thoughts that we have before we jump into some more material?
I have a question for you.
Okay.
What do students struggle with most in the questions you give them? Like, what do you see them struggle with?
This is a weird, not a weird question, but it varies. There are some questions which we've tried to weed out over the years where there's a disconnect between the content and the question, right? So question content versus material content alignment. That's what we strive for, and we feel like we've done a good job of that. I think students struggle a lot with interpreting the question and figuring out what we're actually asking, right? I don't like to write what are traditionally called trick questions, right? I like to write straightforward questions that get at the heart of the mechanism, but students have to know what the mechanism is. And don't be confused. I write specific questions when we ask for certain things, right? One of the mechanisms by which you write a good question is you have the right answer. Say you have 4 answer choices, right? You've got the right answer. You've got 2 answer choices that are obviously wrong for certain reasons. But then you have 1 answer choice, which is called the distractor, that is almost right, but it's not right. This is how questions are written. This is how we are taught to write questions. And this is one way that we are able to assess knowledge for students, whether it's online or face-to-face. And so I see students a lot of times not reading the question carefully and looking at what the question is, and they get distracted, not only by the distractor, but by the answer choices. One mechanism that you can do, unless the question says like, which of the following are correct, right? Cover up the answers. Literally, do not look at the answers. Read the question stem. Try to figure out and come up with your own answer from the question stem before you look at the answers. There's psychology in there because the way the answer choices are presented. One of them might jump out at you for some reason, right? And it's the wrong choice. But your gut, you might say like, oh, I don't know, it's this one, and you second guess it, 50-50 shot, you end up getting it wrong, right? So what I tend to tell students is it's almost like a test taking strategy, right? Cover up the answer choices. Try to answer the question on your own without seeing any answer choices. Figure out what that is in your head, right? And then reveal the answer choices and then see if your answer aligns with that. If it aligns with none of them at all, then you misread or misinterpreted the question. So you need to go back and figure out what part did you, it's asking for the action potential millivolts, or it's asking for the ionic current, and I was giving the gradient, not the current. So that's what I see a lot of students struggle with on exams, is that they are misreading the question or misreading what the question is actually asking. Okay, because we could put a correct current, but it's in a different phase, the action potential. But if you didn't read the question clearly, then it says this. For example, there was a question that I had about carbon monoxide. I don't think we have it on this one, but it was respiratory physiology, and it was about carbon monoxide. And I said, how does carbon monoxide affect PO2, the partial pressure of oxygen dissolved in the blood? And the answer is, I gave 4 answer choices. It does this, it does this, it does this. The answer is it does nothing. It doesn't affect the PO2. It doesn't affect the PO2 at all, because PO2 refers to dissolved, not bound. Okay? And unless you know that caveat, then you're going to select a lot of, actually had to take it out of, because students were getting it wrong, even when I told them, I'm like, listen, make sure you understand. I nailed that concept into them over and over. PO2 refers to dissolved. PO2 reserved to dissolved, right? Calcium is needed for contraction. Calcium is needed for contraction. Calcium's in. But when I asked that question in that manner, they weren't able to get it because they weren't reading it, in my opinion, weren't reading it clearly or carefully enough. So read the question, figure out what it's asking for, come up with your own answer choice before you look at the answers, then look at the answers if you're able to. Yes.
I remember you had one in respiratory as well last year. That was, I had to actually think and go back to, I think, the first lecture where you said, pressure atmosphere does not change. It was not written anywhere, and oh my god, it took me it took me like
And that goes back to reading the
Yeah.
question and understand, because once you understand it, you're like, oh, that it's not a complicated question. It just, and it's not a trick question.
No, it's not.
It's just a specific question. What are they asking for? And for those of you that want to get into professional school, this is a test taking strategy tactic that you need to start to work on. And that is parceling out what in the question stem, what they're actually asking for, whether you're going into medical school, dental school, PA school, a physician, or what are some other schools? We've got pharmacology, right? Or pharmacy school. Whatever professional program you're going to be going into, you are given more information than you actually need to answer the question. And a lot of that information is distractor information in the STEM, right? That's what you're going to see on the MCAT. That's what you're going to see on the boards for whatever professional program. And so you have to figure out, based on what the question is asking, what information you need to use and what information you don't need to use. For example, on the medical school, when I teach in the respiratory medical school, next week actually, one of the questions I have has a longer stem and it asks for the partial pressure of oxygen in the alveoli, right? I give them more information than what is needed. So they have to know the equation for the partial pressure of oxygen in the alveoli and then pull out the information they need. But there's also enough information for another equation, the partial pressure of oxygen in the blood, or whatever else it is, the AA gradient equation. So once again, in the questions that we give you, make sure you read carefully and you parcel out what we're actually.
Can I add that
Yeah,
something I had to learn from experience? If you are stuck between two answers and you're just back and forth, go with your gut, pick the first one. Don't go back and change your answers on exams unless you know for 100% that the answer you're changing to is correct, which if you're stuck between two, you probably don't. So stick with your gut. I had to learn that lesson many times.
Yes.
I would change my answer and end up getting it wrong when I had it right. You know more than you think you know.
Right. No, I echo that as well. Like, go with your gut. If you are, stuck between two, don't just eeny, meeny, miny, mo, like go with the gut. What was your first initial reaction that, of which one is the correct answer? So I'll second that. I think go with your gut. Even if you get it wrong, you're probably going to get it right more often than not if you go with your gut. And you're just going to agonize over that and always say, oh, I should have changed it. Oh, I should have changed it. Oh, I should have changed this, right? Just go with your gut every time and hopefully it won't steer you wrong. If after the assessment you see that your gut did steer you wrong, maybe you didn't know as much as you thought you knew. So
Never happens.
Never happens, right? Never happens. Okay. All right, great. Any other questions, comments, thoughts for students as they prep for this exam? Amy, I know you've got some words of wisdom to share with the class, and they are.
Good luck on the exam. I'm just kidding. I will say that the study guide did reflect the exam really well this time. So 100% go through the study guide because there were exact questions from the study guide on the exam. So 100% go through the study guide.
I mean, I don't know about exact.
Not exact.
I mean, we're gonna hold on there. Let's cut. Cut this out. Because there better not be exact. You guys will be happy if there are. I mean, who made the study guide? Amy, was that you who made the study guide? No, you weren't responsible for making it.
What she means is that if you can answer all the questions on the study guide by yourself, you should not have any problems understanding or answering all the questions.
With no
in the
notes
exam.
prompting you.
With no notes prompting. Okay, all right. Well, good. That means it's an effective study guide, right? Okay,
Those
good.
questions too, because they're difficult.
Yeah, practice questions. Yeah,
And
that too.
You'll
That's
feel
a-
crazy on the exam if you're good on the practice questions.
All right, good deal.
And they have rationale, so that's something we really didn't have.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
No, that's a new requirement.
Yeah.
Med school, dental school, graduate program, they're all requiring now. rationales for the answer choices, right? And also why the wrong answers are wrong. So yeah, so hopefully that's helpful as well. Any other recommendations? Dom, any words of wisdom?
I don't know, just want to echo everything we've really talked about so far, and I know for me, like taking the time to parse out the question itself helps me sort of
Right.
like, you know, prompt my brain to, you know, like what you're talking about, the distractors and
Yes,
stuff.
yeah.
Cause I get distracted by the distractors.
And I think,
So-
yeah, I think you said that also in a previous podcast that you were the type of student who would just go through the exam really, really
Oh,
fast.
yeah.
And you know, that might have worked out, but when you have this graduate level,
Yeah.
it's important to go through it slower.
That's
And you
what-
said that it was.
So I
helpful.
just sit there, I like make myself read the question slowly, and I will physically write down like what the question's asking on like a first grade level.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
And
yeah.
just simplify what I'm looking for.
That's why you graduated first.
And so,
I'll never forgive you for that anyway.
so
Is that top of the class right
Yeah,
there?
I know, I know.
Is that Dom?
I
Dom,
know,
Dom is-
yeah.
just parsing that out.
Yeah, no,
No.
that's good. And on the exam, with exams off, they have digital scratch paper essentially, right? So you will have ability to do that, to look at it's digital notes, if you will, on your laptop or iPad, so you can do that.
I
Go
have
ahead.
another
Yes,
recommendation.
go
I know
ahead.
I've said this before in a previous podcast, but with interacting with these practice questions, don't just take them and then read the rationale and move on. Sit with the question and understand how you could change the question to make another answer choice right. That is really what is beneficial when it comes to like fully understanding the concepts involved, is if you're able to manipulate the question yourself
Hmm.
to create new questions.
And make sure you understand why the wrong answers are wrong.
Exactly.
Oops.
That's what,
Very good.
so
That was-
that's really important.
That will save you during circulation as well, which is
Absolutely.
of course, that's really like hard, like really hard, but thankfully you have all the tools you need actually to get through it.
Very good. Any other last minute words of wisdom? Hunter, words of wisdom, Hunter Green?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, one of the biggest things that helped me going through the exams is recognizing that I don't have to sit and agonize over a question if I don't know the answer immediately. Like,
Yeah.
it is in your best interest to just keep going and come back later. Because I mean, there could be a question later on that, you know, triggers
Yes.
your memory, sparks something that you're like, oh, okay, now I understand it now, and you can go back and answer that question.
Yeah. I'll echo that. I think we all understand, probably even you as well, that when we have a problem that we're working on mentally, right? We're trying to figure this out just in life in general. Oftentimes when you just move on to something else and you sleep on it, then all of a sudden your brain is like subconsciously working on that. Or there's an event, something you read, something you see that triggers the answer that you were trying to find, and it only comes later, right? So like you said, perhaps it's in the best interest to go through and take the time, like Dom said, to read the question, to know the question, but go through the ones that you understand and then come back to the ones that were causing issues, because like Hunter said, you might have read something that triggers your ability to recall that information now, whereas the first time it wasn't able to be recalled. So okay, great. Any other questions, comments, thoughts on test taking strategies?
Go touch some grass before you take it. And
That's for all you boomers out there, like me, touching grass means to
Go outside.
just stop looking at screens, right? Go outside and do something, start a
Did they figure out
fire,
what that meant?
fire pit night. Go chop some wood. I had my 9-year-old chopping some wood the other day. I felt it was a proud dad moment. He was out there chopping. I'm like, please don't let us go to the ER with a chopped off toe, because that would maim it, right? We're safe. We're very safe. But yeah, so go touch grass, chop wood. So I don't know, whatever else, but yeah, unplug. Isn't that what we used to call? That's what we call it, unplug, right?
Follow the ophthalmologist 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look at something 20 feet
Oh.
away for 20 seconds.
No way. Huh, there you go. Learn something new every day. 20-20-20. every 20 minutes, look at something 20 feet away
For 20 seconds.
for 20 seconds. Oh, look at that. You learned something new. I did not know that. Very good.
Reduce the eye strain.
I imagine, yeah, especially with a lot of reading and especially reading on now all the laptops, right, that we read on. So I actually ordered a book from Amazon, a hardcover book from Amazon. I'm pretty excited about it. So gonna read that. That was old school, right?
What is it?
I can't tell you right now, but I'll tell you later.
All right, this has been a good episode.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
I don't think it's the book you were reading.
did all your minds just go to the gutter or something? No, it's not 50 Shades of Grey, okay? It's not what's it called? No, it's not that one.
I'm not at liberty to say.
Not at liberty to say right now. This is okay. It was a diet book, okay? It was a diet book looking at plants, not for I didn't get this for Haley. This is a diet book looking at natural, good, healthy ways, looking at the gut. It looks at the gut microbiome. Guys, see what I have to deal with again? I have to deal with this.
What he has to do.
Yeah, the gut.
Do we have any final thoughts?
Sorry, are you? Has she been fired yet? I mean, come on now. Are you, what, yeah, sponsors. Do we have any sponsorships? Because we're gonna need some.
Cara latte. Now with 0% sleep and 100% cortisol.
Pumpkin Scara Latte. I like that. It's good. It's still not as good as our, what was the twisted, what was the cardiovascular one last? The Bundle Branch Burritos, but still my favorite sponsor of all time, Bundle Branch Burritos. Starbucks. What was the Ghoul? What was the Ghoul one? Google Docs. So, all right, y'all. Well, that is all we have for today. If you have any questions, comments, or snide remarks, please reach out to, not myself, no, you can reach out to me. GTAs are here for you. I'm here for you. Remember, you've got plenty of time, right? You have plenty of time to study. Please follow that timeline. I do also want to put a little special plug in there to the survey that hopefully you guys are receiving email reminders about. Please do that survey if you are able. It is incredibly helpful for us and for you. As I mentioned before, it is going to change how we deliver the content that you're going to be taking next semester, next spring, next summer. So please make sure to fill out that survey. It's voluntary, but incredibly helpful. Anything else? We good? All right, I'm gonna end it like I always end it. Stay cool, stay in school, and don't you